All right, everyone. Today we are going to cover Hirschsprung disease. Most students freeze on this one because they were taught it for 5 minutes and then never saw it again. That's exactly why it works as a test question. It separates the students who memorized from the students who actually understand a pattern. This red segment over here, it's a piece of a bowel with no nerve cells. Above it, the colon balloons up because the stool has nowhere to go. Hold on to this image, the dead segment below right here, the backed up dilated bowel above. Everything else today hangs off of it. Let's get your head in the right space before we learn a single fact. A lot of you overstudy rare topics. You go read a whole surgical chapter and panic. Stop. NCLEX is not going to make you a pediatric surgeon. Here's what it actually tests. It's only 4 things. Number 1, can you recognize the classic newborn presentation from a STEM? Number 2, do you know the test that confirms it? Number 3, can you set priorities before and after surgery? Number 4, can you keep the child safe post-op and spot the emergency? That's the entire scope. It's rare in real life. It's on the blueprint for both PN and RN. It's fair game. When you see a distended newborn who hasn't stooled, your brain should light up. That recognition reflex is worth more than any textbook paragraph. Let's build a disease from the ground up so you never have to memorize it. You'll just understand it. Ganglion cells are the nerve cells that live in a wall of the bowel. Their job is to fire the peristaltic wave, which is the squeeze that moves stool forward. In Hirschsprung, a baby is born without those nerve cells in a segment of the distal colon. That's the word, congenital, which means present at birth. Now, no nerve cells means that there's no signal. No signal means no squeeze. That segment of the bowel is basically paralyzed. And it can't reflex and it can't push. What happens to the stool is that it hits that dead zone and stops, and everything behind it piles up. These are your money signs. If you own this slide, you own the recognition question. The single biggest clue, the one I want tattooed on your brain, is failure to pass meconium within 24 to 48 hours of birth. A healthy term newborn passes that first sticky black stool in the first day or two. Full stop. When a STEM tells you that a newborn hasn't stooled by 48 hours, Hirschsprung should jump to the front of your mind before you even finish reading. NCLEX writers use that line on purpose. It's the flag. Now stack the rest on top. Abdominal distension because everything is backing up. Bilious, that's green. Bile stained, vomiting because the obstruction is low. In an older child, you get chronic constipation and thin ribbon-like stools that squeeze past the narrow segment. Poor feeding and failure to thrive round it out. How is it diagnosed? 3 tests. Only one is the answer they want. Let me make the ranking obvious. Rectal biopsy is the gold standard. It's the definitive confirming test. Why? Because the whole disease is defined by missing ganglion cells. A biopsy is how you prove those cells are absent. You're looking directly at the tissue. If an option says confirms the diagnosis, your hand should be moving toward biopsy. The contrast enema is a supporting visualizing study. It shows that classic transition, a narrow segment with dilated bowel sitting above it. Great picture, it suggests. It doesn't confirm. Anorectal manometry measures whether the internal anal sphincter relaxes when the rectum is stretched. In Hirschsprung, it fails to relax. It's useful, but again, it's not the confirmer. Definitive treatment is surgery. The surgery removes the aganglionic segment and pulls healthy, innervated bowel down. Sometimes there's a temporary colostomy first. Your job as the nurse wraps around the surgery. So let's split it into before and after. Before surgery, you're stabilizing and preventing disaster. Monitor bowel function and measure the abdomen. Rising distension is a warning. An NG tube may be ordered to decompress the gut. Keep IV fluids and electrolytes running because these kids lose and shift fluid fast. You are on constant watch for 2 things: enterocolitis and perforation. That distended bowel can rupture, so worsening distension fever, or a rigid belly is an emergency. It's not a recheck later. After surgery, shift to recovery and protection. Manage pain. Watch for the return of bowel movement. That tells you the gut is waking up. Assess the incision or stoma for infection. Keep it clean and dry. Strict asepsis. Do not skip parent education. Stoma care. Signs of enterocolitis to report and follow up. Frightened parents who know the warning signs are a part of your safety plan. This is a slide that turns a recognition question into a priority question. Know these codes because NCLEX loves to ask, which finding do you act on first? Enterocolitis is the headline. It is the leading cause of death in Hirschsprung disease. Stool stasis lets bacteria overgrow and inflame the bowel. The tell is explosive, foul-smelling diarrhea, fever, and lethargic, sick-looking infant. If you see that, it is a true emergency. Escalate. Fluids, antibiotics, prepare for decompression. Do not sit on it. From there, the dominoes fall. That distended bowel can perforate, bacteria and toxins cross into the blood. You get sepsis, fast deterioration. Fluid losses drive dehydration. Those losses drag electrolytes with them, so you get dangerous electrolyte imbalances on top of everything. If you forget everything else, keep the 4 H's. This is your emergency recall for the test day. H for Hirschsprung. The name itself starts with H. The whole trick is self-cueing. H holds stool. That dead segment holds everything back. Nothing passes. H, huge abdomen. The backup distends the belly. Your classic exam picture. H hasn't passed. Meconium, the 24 to 48 hour clue that flags the whole diagnosis. For this NCLEX question, read the stem slowly. The writers already handed you the diagnosis and the setup. We have a 2-day-old, no meconium, distended, bilious vomiting. That's textbook Hirschsprung. Now they want to see if you can pick the finding that confirms the pattern versus 3 lookalike pediatric GI problems. A, large, greasy, foul-smelling stools, no meconium passed within 24 to 48 hours of birth, current jelly stool with sausage-shaped mass, projectile vomiting with an olive-shaped mass. We went over it. What finding best supports Hirschsprung disease? B is correct. No meconium in 24 to 48 hours is the hallmark. That's the flag, and it matches the stem perfectly. Not for the distractors, because NCLEX builds every wrong answer from a real disease. A, large, greasy, foul stool, that's steatorrhea. Malabsorption, so you think cystic fibrosis. That's not Hirschsprung. C, current jelly stool with sausage-shaped mass, that's intussusception. Different classic pair. D for projectile vomiting with an olive-shaped mass, that's pyloric stenosis. Notice the vomiting there is non-bilious. Our baby has bilious vomiting, so it's a different disease. Next question. So this is a priority question. Priority questions, they punish students who pick the first bad sounding answer. 2 options here are deliberately tempting. You want to slow down. It says an infant with Hirschsprung disease awaiting surgical repair. The nurse reviews 4 findings, which requires immediate intervention. A, abdominal distension and refusal to feed. B, explosive foul diarrhea with fever and lethargy. C, no stool passed in the last 24 hours. D, fussiness during diaper change. What's our answer? The correct answer here is B. Let's go and look at all the other options. We have a trap. That's our A. Abdominal distension and refusal to feed. It sounds serious and it is abnormal, but for an unrepaired Hirschsprung baby, distension and poor feeding are the expected baseline. Is the disease doing what the disease does? Expected findings are almost never the act immediately answer. Now, why is B correct? Explosive foul diarrhea with fever and lethargy, because that is enterocolitis, the number one cause of death in this disease. It's new and it's life-threatening. It demands immediate action. That would be your first move. C, no stool in 24 hours. That's expected. This child obstructs by definition. D, fussiness at a diaper change. It's non-specific because every infant does that. This is a quick review of what we've done so far. It's a congenital absence of nerve cells in the distal colon, so there's no peristalsis and stool damps up. It's a functional obstruction. The classic story is no meconium in 24 to 48 hours, distension, bilious vomiting, ribbon-like stools, failure to thrive. Biopsy confirms it. Surgery fixes it by removing the dead segment. The emergencies are enterocolitis, sepsis, perforation, dehydration, and electrolyte shift. Nursing is all about preventing enterocolitis, watching bowel and fluids, and post-op care and parent teaching. Before we end this, let's look at our high-yield NCLEX Pearl for this Hirschsprung disease one more time. If it's our newborn and they have not passed any stool for 24 to 48 hours, you want to put Hirschsprung on your list. Number 2 is that you'll see distension of the belly, then bilious vomiting, and delayed meconium. What confirms it is rectal biopsy. Our definitive treatment is surgical removal of the affected aganglionic bowel. That is it for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'll be bringing on more of these NCLEX topics. See you next time.